Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another 2024 album breakdown video. This is part 9 of this series. We're going to be, like I said, going through everything I listened to last year, and then at the end of this series, we'll be doing a breakdown of all the stats for the bands we listened to, the genres, things like that. Again, this is part 9. There'll be a link in the description to check out all the previous parts of this series, as well as a list of all the albums I'm about to list off. So let me just pull my spreadsheet up here, and then we'll just get right on with it. So the next album after the last one was Alanis Morissette with Feast on Scraps. Then I listened to Sheryl Crow by Sheryl Crow. I think this is actually her second album, because I think it was Tuesday Night Music Club and this one. This one features like what's the if it makes you happy, I think is on this one. It was pretty good. After that, I listened to Dijon with Absolutely. So a friend of mine told me about this particular artist. It was pretty good. That was an artist I had never heard of before. After that, I listened to Saint Elsewhere by Gnarls Barkley. Following that up with Life's a Riot with Spy vs. Spy by Billy Bragg. Then next up was Outlandos D'Amour by The Police. Really liked that one. It was pretty good. Next after that was True Blue by Madonna. Following that up was Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. So just an iconic album from him, recorded famously at the Folsom Prison. After that, I listened to Katy Perry's 143. Did a video reviewing that one when it came out. Not really a fan of it. I feel it was just very standard. I guess it didn't feel remarkable in any real way. Like, the music was competently put together, but at the end of the day, there was nothing that kind of jumped out at me with that album. After that was a little bit of Mambo by Bega. Following that was Mica Levi with the Under the Skin soundtrack. We didn't do a lot of soundtracks last year, or I didn't listen to a lot of them, but this one I listened to because it was all kind of like an ambient vibe to it. So with soundtracks last year, they all kind of had to have a kind of a genre that was kind of throughout the entire album. So there's a few soundtracks we listened to, and this one was all kind of like an ambient style. After that, I listened to The Stranger by Billy Joel. Just an absolute classic. Probably my favorite record from him. I've kind of stated in the past that you could probably, to somebody that doesn't really know Billy Joel's music, you could just say that's the greatest hits album and probably get away with it because it's just a classic. After that, I listened to More Adventurous by Rilo Kiley. Following that was Cartola with Cartola 70 Años. I think that was like a Brazilian jazz. I don't remember what necessarily what region it's from, but I remember it being like a jazz kind of album, bossa nova maybe. After that, I listened to the Brian Setzer Orchestra with the Dirty Boogie, kind of one of the kind of key albums during the late '90s swing revival. That was pretty good. After that was Frank Sinatra with Strangers in the Night. Following that was the Raveonettes with In and Out of Control. Next up, a great cover band. We have Me First and the Gimmes with Have a Ball. A lot of basically pop punk covers. Chris Shiflett, who's now in the Foo Fighters, was in this band prior to that. After that, I listened to ... For the Whole World to See by Death. I thought that was good. Next up, after that was Kill 'Em All by Metallica. Following that was Fly by the Chicks, or as they were known as the Dixie Chicks prior to that. After that was Snoop Dogg with Doggystyle. Following that was Ann Peebles with I Can't Stand the Rain. Next up was Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs by Marty Robbins. Just some great kind of classic country music there. Next up was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. I think that was one of the albums they did right after they decided to stop touring. I could be mistaken about when, but yeah, that's just an iconic album from them. Next up was the Lemonheads with Hate Your Friends. After that was Mur de Noms, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, by A Perfect Circle. Then followed that up with Sunny Day Real Estate, LP2, or it's also known as the Pink Album. So that is the band, Nate Mandel's bassist for the Foo Fighters' former band. After that, I listened to Ghost with Impera. Following that up was Nina Simone with Wild is the Wind. After that, I listened to Lamodia, Lomeida, and Hannah was the album. After that, I listened to Blood Money by Tom Waits, just a classic album from him. The track, one of my favorite tracks on there is Misery's the River of the World. This is a great track. That's actually the first track on the album. Then I listened to Fetch the Bolt Cutters by Fiona Apple. That was really good. Then following that was Demon Days by Gorillaz. After that was Igor by Tyler, the Creator. Then I listened to Greta Van Fleet with From the Fires. Bookends by Simon and Garfunkel after that. Then I listened to Evanescence with Fallen. After that was Seven Dust and their self-titled debut. Thought that was like a good kind of just heavy rock metal album. After that was Songs in A Minor by Alicia Keys. Then I listened to Busy Head by Noah Kahn. Thought that was good. After that was another kind of key album or key band in the 90s swing revival, or the late 90s, I should say. The Big Bad Voodoo Daddy with Americana Deluxe. Next up, another soundtrack, and it also kind of still fits the kind of ambient kind of vibe the other soundtrack I listened to earlier was, and this is Vangelis, or Vangelis, hopefully I'm pronouncing Vangelis, with the Blade Runner soundtrack. After that, I listened to Home by Deep Blue Something. It has their their iconic track on there. Breakfast at Tiffany's is on that. Next up was Third Eye Blind with their self-titled debut. I believe that has Semi-Charmed Life and Jumper on it. Next up was LL Cool J with The Force. Just a really decent hip-hop album. Didn't know... listened to a little bit of LL Cool J like a while ago, like some of his older stuff, and this one came out. It was actually pretty solid. After that was FKA Twigs with Capra Songs. Following that up, we were back to some jazz with Charles Mingus and the Clown. Next up, more Foo Fighters with 001125, which is Live in London from 2011. That was really good. Next up was Alanis Morissette with MTV Unplugged. Just a great live performance from her, kind of encapsulating, I think, like her first two albums, maybe, or not including the stuff that she did prior to Jagged Little Pill, but like Jagged Little Pill, supposed former infatuation junkie and stuff like that. So that era, but just a great live album from her. Next up was Blind Melon's self-titled debut. Following that was Kali Uchis, Red Moons and Venus. Next up was Freddie Gibbs and Madlib with Pinata. Just a really good, solid hip-hop album. Next up was John Hopkins with Ritual. Then Jackson Browne's Running on Empty. The title track on that is just amazing. Like, Running on Empty is just a great song. And a lot of that stuff was recorded in very, very kind of weird like spots. So I think there were some songs that were recorded in like hotel rooms. There was a song where it was recorded on the tour bus. You could actually hear the bus shifting as like the recording. And then a bunch of other stuff that was recorded just kind of in like live performances. But yeah, the title track Running on Empty is just incredible. After that was King of the Beach by Waves. Following that up was Oasis with Be Here Now. Just a great album from them. I think that's their third studio album. Next up was Pearl by Janis Joplin. After that was the Untuning of the Sky by Sarah Davachi. I believe that was an ambient record. I could be mistaken. Next up was some heavy rock, hard rock with Rat and Out of the Cellar. Next up we have Bury Us on Top by Chuck Berry. And then Blind Faith's self-titled album there. I believe with Eric Clapton is included in that band. More Oasis after that with Nebworth 1996 Live, which is the... I have the Blu-ray. It's over there now. I actually can't grab it. But the Blu-ray is like the documentary and the concert. And then before that came out, I bought the digital live album of that. So just a great live performance from them. Next up was Cosmic Thing by the B-52s. Following that was the Talking, or sorry, not the, just Talking Heads with Remain in Light. After that, we have Mariah Carey with Rainbow. Next, after that was Rage Against the Machine and their self-titled debut. Just a great debut from them. And very recently at Record Store Day this year, I picked up their 1993 live album during their first world tour, which features a lot, or pretty much all the stuff is off this album, but just great kind of raw live performances from them, all off of this album. After that was Rufus and Shaka Khan with Rags to Rufus. I almost said Rags to Riches, but yeah, Rags to Rufus. Next up was Smooth Talk by Evelyn Champagne King. Then we follow that with Seven, so S-E-V, and then the 7, and then E-N, by Exene Krivenka and Original Sinners. Exene mostly known for her time with the punk rock band X, but yeah, just a great album from her. After that, we have Nirvana with From the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah, which I remember reading a thing about someone recently where it's kind of the polar opposite of the MTV Unplugged. This is all kind of very raw live recordings. I think Chris Novoselic is one that put this together. I think it came out in like '96, but just a great live album. Another great live album from Nirvana. After that was Help by the Beatles. Following that was Harlequin by Lady Gaga, because I think I just seen the Joker, whatever they called it, the second Joker film that she was in, and it was kind of like that, like kind of croonerish kind of genre, which actually leads into the next album, which was James Darren with This One's from the Heart, which that came out, and I remember he played Vic Fontaine on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It was like a lounge singer kind of thing. So yeah, that one was a good one. After that was hopefully I'm gonna pronounce this correctly. Palais Royale, P-A-L-A-Y-E, with Fever Dream. Then after that is another live album, which is The Killers live at the Royal Albert Hall. This is a great live album there. After that was Nefertiti by Miles Davis, so back into some more jazz music there. Next up was the Airborne Toxic Event by a self-titled thing there. After that, we have Propeller Heads with Dex and Drums and Rock and Roll. I believe Spy Break is featured on that album, which is famously used in the lobby shootout in the original Matrix film. Next after that was the Brothers Johnson with Right on Time. Just a great kind of funk album. I think Strawberry Letter 23 is on this. And that I think was in I think it was very lightly featured in Pulp Fiction, and I remember they did like a soundtrack to Pulp Fiction like years after the original that had that on it. Anyhow, next up was Tropico by Pat Benatar, and then next we have the Cranberries with Everybody Is Doing It, So Why Can't We? Great album from them. After that, we have Heaven or Las Vegas by the Cocteau Twins. Recorded or did a video for my 1990s series about that one. After that is the Home Team with the Crucible of Life. Then I have Making Steak by HYBS, so Making Steak by HYBS. It's a different band. After that is Jackson C. Clark and their self-titled album. Next up, we have another version of Brat, so Charlie XCX with Brat, and it's completely different, but also still Brat, which is the remix album of Brat with a bunch of other guest contributors. It completely changes up the dynamic on pretty much the entire album. So just another great entry into the kind of like versions of Brat that you can get. Highly recommend the remix album. It's incredible. After that is TWRP with Digital Nightmare. Then we have Sound and Color by Alabama Shakes. Next up, we have After Laughter by Paramore. I was told about this one by a coworker, and it's definitely a different side to Paramore. It's definitely more in the vein of pop than their normal kind of like rock style from before. Like a great album, some great feels almost like a 1980s kind of pop record. After that was Fantastic Planet from Failure. Then I have KMRU with Peel. After that was Salt for Salt by Brownbird. Next up, into some classic kind of 90s hip-hop, we have Ice Cube with America's Most Wanted. Then I have, I think it's DIIV with Frog in Boiling Water. Following that is Foster the People with Torches. I think that's the one that features Pumped Up Kicks. Could be wrong. After that is The Cult with Love. Or just The Cult. Love is the album. Next up, some kind of classic disco with Casey and the Sunshine Band in their self-titled album. After that was Rhythm Deep by Omar Hakim. Kind of like a like jazz funk record. And finally, after that, the 100th album in this list, and the end of this list is Prism by Katy Perry. Don't know where I rank it necessarily. I think I like, I think I've mentioned Teenage Dream is probably like second, and then I think I've had a turnaround on just One of the Boys, thinking probably that's one of the boys, whatever it was, probably being my favorite, with Prism being, like, so I go basically just go in release order with One of the Boys, Teenage Dream, and then Prism. But that is the complete list of the next 100 albums. Again, there'll be a link in the description to check out the previous parts of this series, as well as a list of everything I just mentioned. And then when we're done going through all the albums, I think we have a couple episodes, a couple videos still to go, maybe like 2 or 3. And then we'll get into our breakdown videos where we break down all the stats for everything else. But that's going to do it for now. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.